Go to Start, Office, Microsoft Access. And it looks warm and fuzzy because it looks exactly like Word and Excel. You have a title bar, you have pull-down menus, and you have a standard toolbar. That's it. That's where the similarity ends. The first thing you want to do is tell the computer to generate one of these two filing cabinets. To do that, look, what would you click on? I want a new filing cabinet. I don't know, I stare at it. The blank sheet of paper, click on it. When you click on the blank sheet of paper, I want to create a blank database, which is a shell of a filing cabinet. Click on blank database. Already, Michelle, it's asking me, what do you want to create? What do you want to save? You have to save it before you can create it. And before you're like, oh my God, I'm just creating this little old filing cabinet. No, you're not. The filing cabinet on the computer is probably 5 times the size of this entire high school. It's huge. Make sure you save it in your H drive. In your H drive, click on CFC. And down at the bottom, what do I want to call it? I want to create a filing cabinet for, just like eSchool, Fieldstone. So if I'm going to create a filing cabinet for Fieldstone, what am I going to name it? Fieldstone. Doesn't say save. It says what? Create. Click on create. Remember, ask me nothing. I will give you the video to watch if you don't know how to do something. Once it's created, all right, so it doesn't really look like a filing cabinet. But do you see this? That's it. It says that it's Fieldstone. You have a standard toolbar and then you have a view toolbar. Your view toolbar says open, design, new, delete, large icon, small icon. And then you have objects. When you create a filing cabinet, it's just a shell, 5 times the size of the high school. When you create tables in a filing cabinet, you create a drawer. When you create records, it's like your permanent records for the school that the guidance counselors still have on you in a filing cabinet, right? Tables are file cabinet drawers. There's 3 ways to create a table. You can create a table in Design View, create a table by using a wizard, that stinks, or you can create a table by entering data. If you ever click on create a table by entering data, log out of Access because you don't know enough to create a table. That does nothing. We're going to click on create a table in Design View. Double click, clickety click. Now, Nicole, look. Let's say I put my head down or start drooling on myself, or I don't know, I text message on the side of my computer. If you click on the wrong thing in Design View, the computer automatically freezes and closes out. You'll be watching this video. Do not go ahead of me. You know when you come the first day of school and they hand out that nurse's card for you and you fill in your contact information, your last name, your first name, your address, all that stuff about you? They use that information to create fields. So let's look at the timeout pass. The timeout pass has dates. It has student name, grade, classroom teacher, period, time set. If I wanted to create a database for the timeout room, I would use the form that the teacher fills out to come up with fields. Once you make a list of fields and you fill them in, you have a complete record. So let's think. If Access is a filing cabinet, and your records used to be inside you, how would the computer put them in order if I was the secretary? Alphabetically. Now look at what happens. Here's the problem. You have Stephanie Beloff and Holly Beloff. Who goes first? You know to look to the first name. In fact, Michelle, if you don't know to look to the first names, then I need to fire you. What if you had Holly Beloff and Holly Beloff? Now what are you going to do? Middle name. You're smart. A computer cannot do that. When you tell a computer how to file records, it will only file it that way. So if you use last name as the way to file the records, as soon as it came on 2 people with the same last name, the computer computer would freeze. It wouldn't know what to do. So the school is like, oh, we're going to create a database called eSchool. We're going to put all the kids in it, and we have to figure out a way to put the kids in order in the database. We have to come up with one piece of information that no two students can have the same. What'd they come up with? What did motor vehicle come up with? What did the federal government come up with? What did the library come up with? You have a library card number. What did ShopRite come up with? It's a card number. You have those numbers because those are what's called the primary key. It's a unique piece of information, and the only reason you have it is for an electronic database. It is what the database uses to put you in order. So let's put that down. That's the first thing. Type student ID number. Field name cannot contain hyphens, commas. Doesn't like that stuff. Period. It'll completely mess up. When you tell the computer student ID, that is what I'm going to use to put the records in order. Hit tab. You have to define what data type student ID is. Get your pull down for data type. You've got text. Text is any character on the keyboard. Letters, numbers, symbols. A memo field. Do you know when you go to Zolo and you get a referral and I write things at the bottom of the referral? That's in a memo field. That is when the secretary, oh yeah, that's on the computer, types everything that's in the bottom of that referral. Memo fields are used for long pieces of data. A number field is only used to perform mathematical calculations. You only use a number data type to perform mathematical calculations. Date and time. Your date of birth is a date and time field. It's formatted for the date or the time. Currency is for what? Money. Auto number means the computer is going to number it. You're going to be 1, you're going to be 2, you're going to be 3. Yes, no. Yes, you're graduating. No, you're not. You only can have 2 values in a yes-no data type. Yes or no. OLE object. Do you know how I pull up eSchool, Michelle, and I click on your attendance information, and some of you have a 10th grade picture? Yes? You're in that database as an object link embedded. The only way to stick a photo in a database is to do that data type. Some of you have photos because they're on your student ID. Some of you do not. When you go to motor vehicle, your picture comes up if you have a driver's license. They stick your picture in the database by object link embedded. Hyperlink means you click on it and you're going to go somewhere. A lookup wizard is those little forms you fill out on the computer. You know when you're on the computer and you order something and it says what state you're in, and you click on a little pull down, and all the states come up in the United States? That's a lookup wizard. What data type would I make student ID? Text or number?
Number.
Why not number? Numbers are only for mathematical calculation. Am I going to sit here and add and divide your student ID number? No. Click on text. Hit tab. This is the one description that you cannot leave out. This is what's called the primary key. It is the unique piece of information that the computer is going to use to put the records in order. The primary key. It is not the primary key until you say to the computer, Nicole, yo, Mr. Computer Man, this is the primary key. Look at your standard toolbar. How would I tell the computer that this is what I picked for the primary key? I click on the key. Click on it. You missed that one step, Victoria, and when we go to save it, yours won't save. You must click on the key and have the key right by student ID to make it the primary key. On your keyboard, hit the function key, F6. You're down by field size. By default, what is the field size? 50. Let me show you field size. I want to know what the field size is for my employee ID. Let me see the field size. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. My employee ID, since it's my social security number, is 9 digits long. Ooh, I forgot something. 10, 11. That's a social security number. My social security number with the hyphens is 11 characters long. How long is your student ID? Count. How many characters? 7. Anyone have more than 7? They ran out of 5 digits. Then they go to 6 digits. They run out of 7 digits. Then they're going to have to go to what? 8 digits. I'm going to plan ahead for field size. I'm going to say in the next 20 years, student ID numbers are probably going to be how many digits long? Not 5. At least 10.
We graduate,
They can't recycle student ID numbers for 10 years since you're out of here, because that is attached to your records. So when I pull up, Nicole, 10 years from now, when I pull up that student ID and you want your transcript, I have to legally keep that information for X amount of years. I'm going to make student IDs 10 digits long. Think of social security numbers. Do you know how people steal identities? They look at the obituaries to see who died. And then they look at their social security numbers and try to get credit cards in the people who died names. Those social security numbers don't die with you. They don't reuse them. That is disgusting. Hit F6. Hit tab. Now let me warn you, Julie, you can't click all around here. You can't click. It's tab to go down. You got to fill it in going across, or else it will shut you out. So I'm going to type your student ID. What else? What else would I type about you? After your student ID number, you're entering the school. Your what name? Type last name. Hit tab. Get your pull down. What data type would last name be? Text. Hit tab and type student last name. Julie, the description is for the data entry person whose job is to sit there and new students have to apply. They have to bring proof of residencies and fill out a form. There is a person who sits and enters that data. I want to make sure they don't put your mother's last name, your last name. Can you have a different last name than your mother? Yes, you can. Hit F6. How many of you have last name cut off on your schedule? Anybody have their last name cut off? First name cut off? If your first name's cut off, it's because the people who made eSchool didn't make the field size big enough. You don't leave it at 50. As soon as you create a filing cabinet, the computer eats up this much space on your hard drive. As you start making the field size smaller, it shrinks the file size. Databases are huge. Last name. Let me see how big my last name is. P. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. My last name is 6 characters long. Anyone have a last name longer? 8. Yeah. So this girl in high school I know that hyphenated her last name. Her last name is Oliva Potenza. And she hyphenated her husband's last name, Santiago. That's long. You want to, let's count how long. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. I would think that's probably about the longest last name I've ever seen in my life. So let's play it safe. How big do you want to make last name? 25 works. 25. Hit F6. Hit tab. Type first name. Tab. What's the data type? Tab. Now look, if the secretary who's entering the data, Bill Murray, doesn't know that your first name should go with the student's last name, nothing I type there is going to help her. She needs to get fired. The descriptions are for the secretarial staff or the data entry clerk, whatever you want to call them, that enter the data in. I'm not going to put a description. You don't have to. Hit F6. How big do you want to make first name? My first name is Stephanie. Stephanie. Ooh, it's 9 characters long. How long is your first name? 9. Anyone got longer? Play it safe. I have a friend whose name is Hiramir, and it's it's long. So I'm going to play it safe and make it 20. Hit F6. Tab. So I have student ID, last name, first name. What other information would the school district need about you to enter you into the school? They need your address, right? So let's do address. And this is really your street address. Hit tab. What's the data type? Text. Hit tab. And I'm going to put your home address. It's not your mailing address, because you could have a P.O. box. I need where you live. Hit F6. My parents live at 938 Peekskill Hollow Road. That's a long address. I do not want this to be cut off because, Michelle, all of the letters that go home to dear parent or guardian, use this database to do the envelopes to send it home. If I cut off your address and it's cut off on the envelope, is it going to get to you? No. How big do you want to make street address? Let's keep it at 50. Hit F6. Tab. So I have street address. What would go next? You live at 106 Hammond Road. That's enough to send your city. Tab. What's the data type? Hit tab. I'm not doing a description. You should know that the city goes with the home address. Hit F6. How big do you want to make city? Let's make it 20. Hit F6. Tab. Type state. Tab. What's the data type? Text. Hit tab. In the description, type abbreviate. I want you to abbreviate the state. Okay, hit F6. If you're abbreviating the state, how big is it? It's 2, no matter what state you live in. Hit F6. Tab. What do I need? Zip code. What is the data type for zip code? Text or number? Why is it not number? You're not adding, multiplying, or dividing a zip code. Hit tab. No description. Hit F6. 10984. How big? But there's a magical hyphen and 4 other digits. Zip codes are usually 10 digits long. This is the zip code. This is the route number. Most of you don't know the route number, but some people might put it. So how big should I make it, just in case? 10. Hit F6. Tab. So we have zip code, correct? After zip code, very important, so I could call your parents. Home phone. Is it text or number? It is text. Hit tab. Okay. Your home phone comes with this. Ready? 845. Is that 2 hyphens there? 942-3318. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I haven't seen a phone number with more than 13 digits. Have you? So just be on the safe side. Who knows? Let's make it. Hit F6. 15. Hit F6 again. Tab. So we have your student ID, which is the primary key, the way to put it in. Phone. Now let's type gender. They put that information in about you. Hit tab. What's the data type? Hit tab. Type abbreviate. You're male or what? Female. Hit F6. If you're abbreviating male or female, what's the field size? 1. Hit F6. Tab. Now type final exam. Tab. This is your final exam grade that I'm going to use when I do your report cards to do your GPA. What is final exam? It's number. So is your quarter 1 average and quarter 2 average. That each school calculates your GPA for them. Click on number. Hit tab. Notice you do not change the field size for number. I'll prove it to you. Hit F6. Does it say 50? It says long what? Integer. You do not change the field size for a number field. Hit F6 again. Look, your database cabinet is called Fieldstone. You have one draw ready, and I'm ready to put something right here to name this draw. See, since it's Fieldstone, what's the first grade in Fieldstone? 8th grade. I want to name this cabinet draw, this table, 8th grade. Look up here. On your standard toolbar, you see the disc? Click on the disc. And it says, what's your table name? That's the cabinet draw. It's going to be 8th grade. You are naming this cabinet draw 8th grade. Ready? Now the first person, hit OK. Notice it says 8th grade here. You are in design view. Design view is where you design the field. Data sheet view is where the data entry clerk enters the data. So let's flip-flop views. You are in design view to enter field. The first button, don't click on the pull down. Michelle, the first button on the standard toolbar is your view button. Hit it. Now you are in data sheet view. Data sheet view is to enter data. Do you see this first field? That is the primary key. If you ever leave this field blank, it will not save your work. You can never leave the primary key blank. Type your student ID number. Pay attention to you. Don't even, Julie. You got to keep going. Hit tab. He can watch the video. Last name. Type it. Do you have to capitalize the first letter of your last name here? Michael, if I hire you to enter all new students' data and you don't capitalize, this database not only does report cards, envelopes, I would have to hire someone to go back in and fix it all. I wouldn't pay you. Hit tab. Tab moves you across. What would move you back? Shift tab, just like a table. Type your first name. Hit tab. Type your street address. Make sure you capitalize what you have to capitalize. Hit tab. Type your city. Hit tab. Type your state. Hit tab. Type your zip code. Tab. Area code. Tab. Gender, capital letter. Final exam. Give yourself a 98. When you fill in all of the fields, see how I just filled in all the fields for Stephanie Beloff? That is my permanent record. That is equivalent to having this record inside this file tab. If you want to do someone else's record, hit tab. Now, you know how some of you did the tab assignment yesterday and you filled in everybody's last name? Let's try that. Hit tab. Are you underneath the second person's last name? Type Smith. Hit the down arrow key. What do you get? Index or primary key cannot contain a null value. What is the primary key? Student ID number. You cannot type information going down. Think about it. Michelle, if I was having your record, I wouldn't have Julie's record. Michelle would be the only one in front of me. You do not type information going down. It won't let you. Hit OK. We hit the down arrow key. Hit Shift Tab to go back to Student ID. Are you back to Student ID? You know what? Hit Tab again. I don't have Smith's record. I can't finish it. Hit Delete. Get rid of Smith. Hit the down arrow key. We deleted Smith, and what still comes up? Index or what? Index or primary key can't contain a null value. You will always get that. In fact, if you try to type it down and you delete it, it won't work. Hit OK. The only thing I can do, Michelle, As soon as you're here, when you hit tab and you come down here, the computer has a new file folder for you. You got to get rid of it. If you ever hit tab by accident and you don't have information to put down there, hit escape, escape. Does it get rid of the row? Now look up here, especially if you lost your place. I'm in data sheet view. Data sheet view is to enter data. I want to flip-flop back to design view. Do you see your first button on the standard toolbar? Hit it. Are you in design view? Design view is to enter field. Hit the button again. Are you back to data sheet view? Yes? To shut the draw, if you want to finish with the 8th grade table and shut the draw, how would you just shut the draw of the 8th grade table? Hit the red X. Do you see the 8th grade table here? This is your filing cabinet, Julie. It is called Fieldstone. Click on 8th grade. Double click. What view are you in? Data sheet view. Close out. Look at your view toolbar. That's 8th grade. I want to open up 8th grade in design view. What button would you click on? Click on design. Are you in design view? Hit the red X. I want to open it up in data sheet view. Nicole, look. See open? Hit open on your view toolbar. Are you in data sheet view? Hit the red X. Take your mouse and click in the white area. Is the 8th grade table highlighted? It's not. Can you open it in either view? Click on 8th grade. Double click on it. Double click is a way to quickly get to data sheet view. What's a quick way from here to get to design view? Hit the view button. Are you in design view? Hit the view button again. Go back to data sheet view. You are going to add the first set of 8th graders. This is the first test grade you have. Here we go. You have to add the information going what? Across. Yeah, you stay in this. You're now in 8th grade again. When you're finished, you're just going to hit the red X and close out of the table. It saves it automatically. You are in the 8th grade table. Make sure the ditto says 8th grade. You fill in the information going across. This counts as an access test grade. So you click down here, fill in the information. Make sure you put it in the right order. Sorry. You got to think.